Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki man side. I've been meaning to make this video for quite a while. So, who is going to replace Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, our beloved Liverpool? We've still got all to play for the season, we're in for the quadruple. I still think we'll win the Premier League, I'll do that video very soon. But I think there are only 6 realistic candidates, for sure. 6 names, they've been publicised, they've been in the media already. I'll give you my take and why I think you can discount 3 of them straight away. And the remaining 3... there's a clear pecking order here. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Now, all of these coaches are already employed by various different regimes at the moment, wearing different shirts and different hats. However, do they have what it takes to be the next Liverpool FC manager? Now, let's analyse what it takes to actually become a Liverpool manager, discounting the obvious likes of the Roy Hodgson regime, because he was just a yes man, right, for Hicks and Gillett. What they need to do is carry on the prestige of the club. We're expected to compete at the upper echelons of every competition, whether it's the Premier League, the Champions League for sure next season, the FA Cup and the Carabao EFL Cup. We have to fight on all 4 fronts. They have to manage the squad. They have to maximise the potential of the players within the squad in terms of the world-class players that we do have, Alisson, Van Dijk, Mo Salah, etc. Also, make the most of all of the tactical flexibility and ingenuity available within the squad, the talent, the likes of Szoboszlai, McAllister, Wataru Endo, Trent Alexander-Arnold. We have an abundance of quality in youth in development at the moment. Connor Bradley, Jarrell Quansah, Harvey Elliott, all the players coming to prominence, even Fabio Carvalho coming back, for example, Sepp Vandenberg. What can you do with the fringe players, the youth players, the talent coming through, Troy and Yoni, for example. Also, not just the man management skills, which is a vital factor of Klopp's success in the previous seasons, but also the tactical discipline, the tactical variations, the tactical analysis, the right setup for the team, not just to play a certain way, for example, Conte's wing backs, but to tactically be flexible enough to compete with Pep Guardiola, to compete against Stoke, compete against Bolton, compete against West Ham, even a PSG in the Champions League. Who knows who you may come up against? So this top tier strategist needs to be able to flip the hat the other way around and get a bit spicy. Liverpool FC, reversible bucket hat. I'm talking about flexibility as well. They've got to work within FSG's infrastructure. Obviously, we need a director of football. George Schmadtke's appointment now makes loads of sense to me. The temporary appointment, working under Klopp, getting the transfer targets in, knowledge of the Bundesliga, short term back into retirement after Liverpool FC, successful transfer window, a big midfield revamp. Now, a new director of football has to take the reins in Liverpool and work together with the coach. He's got to be a coach, he's got to be a manager, he's got to facilitate the relationship with Billy Hogan, the sports scientist, the team in and around him. Obviously working with the data analyst, identifying the right players, the scouting units, the attributes he wants, the formation he wants to play. And saying that as well, all of these coaches that I have in mind have a preference for tactical formations. I don't think, however, there's going to be an exact like-for-like match, because what they're going to try to bring into Liverpool FC doesn't necessarily have to be the way they're playing right now. People need to understand you don't always just go with a singular, rigid structure. You have to be flexible for the players you have available. And Liverpool FC have quality players that suit many different formations and variations. So let's get into it. So I'm going to start with this particular coach, Julien Nagelsmann. Now, if there even is such a thing, Nagelsmann is the golden boy wonder kid of managerial coaches. Basically, he started his coaching career at 28 years old at Hoffenheim. He's gone from success to success. He's tactically versatile. He's young. He's creative. He has modern day tactics and variations. He's a big advocate for gegenpressing. Where have we heard that before? Immediately, as soon as you lose the ball, we got to regain the ball. He pressures the opposition. He really pushes them, congests the play, forces turnovers. He's tactically versatile as well. He doesn't stick to one formation, and his pathway looks very promising, right? Hoffenheim to Leipzig to Bayern Munich. And let's speak about this Bayern Munich. It's not anyone who become coach of Bayern Munich, especially taking over from the ever successful Hansi Flick. He cost 25 million. That is outrageous. It cost 25 million to get Nagelsmann to Bayern Munich. He's won the Bundesliga. He's an absolute winner. However, does his philosophy, does his personality fit in with the Liverpool ethos? Now, he's relatively young. He has experience at the highest stages, obviously, with Bayern Munich, Champions League. I think did he get Hoffenheim into the Champions League? Because if memory serves me correct, like Hoffenheim were going to get relegated or something. They were in relegation trouble. Nagelsmann took over, eventually got them to 4th place. I think that qualifies for a playoff knockout round. where they lost to Liverpool, right? They got knocked out by Liverpool. Hoffenheim against Liverpool. I remember it now. Yeah, that's right. That's what happened. So He has experience on the biggest stage, golden boy, wonder kid, prominent, and now he's in the German national team hot seat. And mixed performances, albeit, you know, the generation isn't the golden generation of old. They can't rely on Miroslav Klose, for example. Müller is coming to the end of his career. They haven't got the Özil or the Götze or, you know, those really, really strong players and personalities. Sami Khedira, for example, Hummels, all that kind of stuff, right? Marco Reus. Let's sign Reus. If Nagelsmann were to come in, that spells very bad news for Ryan Gravenberch because, yeah, they never saw eye to eye. And Ryan Gravenberch never really had a role to play under Nagelsmann, mainly because of this gang pressing philosophy. It's more like the early days of Jurgen Klopp, heavy metal rock football, but possession based and really, really composed. He relies on great passing skills, ball to feet as well. He would bring energy and youth and reverberance around the Liverpool atmosphere. I'm sure he'd be happy to work with a sporting director as well. He would accept the Liverpool job, no issues whatsoever. You can guarantee if he leaves the German national team hotbed, he will come straight into Liverpool and he would sign that contract tomorrow if offered. That being said, I think it's going to take a special somebody to take over from Jurgen Klopp, because especially the fact that he's German, he's going to be likened to Klopp straight away, and any minor differences he'll be hammered on straight away, and any signs of tension or conflict, he seems a little bit too nice. He doesn't have that strong demeanor, that authoritative demeanor to really stand up to the media, to fight your side. Remember Benitez fighting against all comers, including his own ownership, to try to get Liverpool to the promised land, to where he needed to be, to build on from the Champions League victory, to build a squad capable of challenging for the Premier League. Just didn't get the money, just didn't get the backing. He stood our ground, and you can't imagine Nagelsmann fighting a corner in that regard. And I think Nagelsmann would expect a lot of financial backing to really get the players to implement his style. Now, I'm not saying that this Liverpool squad can't play his style at the moment, but I think he is quite headstrong in the same way Thomas Tuchel is. It might be a German thing, apart from Klopp, who's a little bit more senior and a little bit more easygoing and willing to go with the flow. He didn't really push the owners into a corner, into giving, you know, these elaborate funds. But saying that, we did bid for Caicedo, 110 million odd, 115 million odd. And we should have that budget in place as well. But I don't see Nagelsmann being the ideal fit to succeed from Klopp at this stage. Now, there is a world where Nagelsmann could come in. If the other options reject us, then it's a logical choice, because after he's out of the job from the national seat from Germany, he is an option that you could grab for pittance, right? It's just a contract. You don't need to have to pay any severance fee. That 25 million to Bayern Munich, my goodness. But that shows how highly he's rated in the coaching world, and you'd imagine that he would have fleeting success. I don't know about sustained success in Champions League and Premier League. It depends on the players you buy in, and depends on the state of the rival clubs. But you can imagine him being quite a good cup competition manager. You can imagine him being popular with the squad. He's fairly young and youthful. He knows what they're into, or the hobbies, or the stuff on the outside as well. He seems a likeable lad. Doesn't seem like a disciplinarian. Would all of the players respect him? Now, they might be intrigued by his brain, his analysis, his detail, his gegen pressing, his style of play, being German as well. Ethnicity is actually quite a big thing when you come into respecting a coach and the way they transcribe their information, their tactics, their ideas into you. I think he's very amenable. He'd be quite a good talker, quite a good man manager, and he's a good tactician as well. But overall, the fit isn't quite there. I think Nagelsmann is probably fourth choice, okay? So, yeah, I'm going to discount Nagelsmann. He's one of the three that I don't think Liverpool will go with for next season. And next I want to bring up Harry Potter. Now, I mean Graham Potter, right? So, I know some people may laugh, but stylistically, he is actually quite a decent fit. He got a Brighton team up and running, great style of play, given the opportunity at Chelsea, but the Chelsea hotbed is completely different to the seat at Liverpool FC. We actually back our managers, give him time, give him support. He was like a catfish out of water. I don't even know if that's a phrase, but literally, he did not have a place to belong. They needed the upper tier of media darlings, Pochettino, in the hot seat, and look how that is turning out for them. But the issue with Potter is the fan base wouldn't accept him, wouldn't warm to him unless he had that immediate success, hit the ground running. I don't think he'd be given the time. And one prominent fact, I think, is the next manager has to more or less have the affinity with the fan base from the off, really have something about them, really G up the fan base, because how can you follow from Jurgen Klopp, right? It is kind of a cursed seat, but it's not in a way, because there is a world where the next manager actually succeeds from day one and really goes on an immediate run with the players and talent that we got, and bring in the players and coaching setup and everything that they want as well. But I don't think Graham Potter is that man. So in that regard, because for all his good qualities, and he is a good man manager as well, and the players talk nicely about him, yeah, it wouldn't G up or excite the fan base, and because of his prior stint at Chelsea, it just wouldn't be in the best of taste following from Jurgen Klopp. So let's go to someone that could potentially be an X factor, a wild card factor. And I'm going to do separate videos actually on how Liverpool would set up and shape up, what the formations and the likely players starting 11 would be under these various managers. Watch those videos. I'm going to do it on the top 3 that I think have the best opportunity to succeed at Liverpool and most likely be chosen as priority for Liverpool as well. If those videos do good, I might extend it to do a video on how Liverpool would set up under all 6 of these managers, potentially 7. Okay, next up, let's go with Amorim at Sporting. Now, Amorim, intensity. This is a very interesting ploy from Amorim. He plays 3 at the back. You're going to see a prominent proposer of the 3-4-3 formation, and very dynamic, very fluid, high pressing. He is all about intensity. In fact, I would prefer Amorim than Nagelsmann, but I think FSG in all likelihood would be attracted to Nagelsmann for the fact that he is free after the Euros, whereas Amorim has a 20 million euro release clause, right? But this, just look at him, just look at this guy. He looks top tier. He looks stylish and spunky. He's a bit fiery as well. I think he was a central midfielder in his playing days, similar to Thiago at Chelsea back in the day, Portuguese one. I think Amorim plays exciting football. He's succeeded in the Portuguese league as well. He's won the league. He's won cups as well. Has he won multiple cups? He plays youthful, exuberant football that's very attractive on the eye with high intensity and high pressing. And he just looks like someone who's destined for success. He's been tooted around in the media as one of the next big things. Obviously, Mourinho coming from that league, from that Porto Champions League success, is stock at the highest it could be. Amorim is of that kind of ilk as well, except for Mourinho's negative, can just to play, very, very solid, needs a bank book and a budget to really act. But Amorim really gets the most out of these youth players and really raises their bar to high potential youngsters. I think Amorim could really, really get a lot of juice out of the current Liverpool setup, and he's highly regarded, and he could be a coach for a decade or more. Now he is the kind of coach that can make these youngsters into that next big thing. Ugarte, Inacio, Goncalves, I think Pedro Porro, did he come from there, from Tottenham as well? A lot of these players played under him, and my goodness, they were stylish to watch and really coveted worldwide by many, many other teams, including Liverpool, right? Linked with Ugarte beforehand, but we got Wataru Endo. Oh yeah. I like Amorim. I think he would be a success at Liverpool. He would go in, he'd pull no punches, he'd install his philosophy. He's got a clear way of playing. He knows the players for his formation as well. He'll cut the dead wood that doesn't fit his formation, and it would be very, very interesting to watch, and it'd be exciting as well. You just don't know what would happen, and obviously without his exposure to the Premier League, there's a question mark there. How he can work underneath a structure with a bigger budget, with higher caliber players as well. Question marks all over the top of that, but Amorim would be very, very exciting. My goodness, look at him. He looks like a thoroughbred coach. What am I saying? I do not think he squeezes into that top 3 for a few reasons. That the 3 that I have in mind are more suitable for Liverpool in its current climate, and he would be a complete wild card that the opposition coaches wouldn't know how to set up against. They'd have to do a lot of tactical analysis into his style of plays, because he really likes to work on the inside channels as well, and overloads on the inside channels to get that spare man over the top, in and out wide as well. He's a very interesting coach. I love this guy. He's going to achieve big things, but maybe not the next step Liverpool. And if you're enjoying this analysis so far, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. I've got lots of top tier content coming up. This channel is always about substance in abundance. Like this video as well, helps it get seen, exposed to more people. We're growing constantly. Thank you always for your support. I love the interaction. I try my best to personally interact and comment back as soon as possible. If you don't subscribe, boohee boohee. Kirishima Black Pig coming for you. But yes, one manager that I want to rule out straight away, even though he's a multiple time Champions League winner out of a job, is Zinedine Zidane. The reason why? Doesn't speak English, mate. No interest in speaking English. He needs a pure, talented squad full of superstars that he can manage from day one. He's shown no affinity to trying to develop players or really bring them through the ranks to prominence. He just wants to win trophies with a ready-made squad. He speaks Spanish. He knows La Liga, Real Madrid inside out. He was made for that role. Don't see him doing anything else. Maybe French national team. That's about it. Let's go on to the next one. Now, I want to squeeze in a quick word here about Pep Ljinders, right? So Pep Ljinders, inheriting Klopp's regime, knows about intensity, knows about the game pressing, knows about our transitions, knows about our players inside out, knows about Liverpool. He is absolutely class as a man, as a coach, as a tactician. His previous stint as a manager didn't go fully successful. A lot of people are wanting him to continue what Klopp has built, the Paisley to the Shankly, for example. But I think Pep Ljinders is right in what he says. it's time to refresh. It's time for a new regime. When Klopp leaves, Pep Ljinders needs to leave. He is too well embedded into Liverpool philosophy for something new, for something transformational. It's a transition from what we know to what we know in a slightly lower quality, if that makes sense. Now, to be fair to Pep Ljinders, he's been respectful, he's been classy, but is he the man in front, leading from the front of Liverpool FC in the absence of that wealth of managerial experience? You know, you've got your Jurgen Klopp competing against Pep Guardiola's. Ljinders is kind of like the Arteta light feeling. Arteta to Guardiola, for example. I think you need to start fresh to reinvigorate the fan base, to progress from Klopp's glorious chapters, and hopefully this season is his most glorious chapter. The quadruple is still on, but I think it's fair that the backroom staff leaves. Pep Ljinders establishes himself with a different club, with Victor Manis as his number 2, and in the future one day comes back to Liverpool to give us that huge push to win everything once again, obviously after the next manager is super successful. I do believe that the cycle of this particular backroom staff and way of looking at the club is over, and the players, I feel, will be more excited with a new approach, new ideas as well, rather than continuation of the same old, because it will be a slight imitation of Klopp with new methods enforced and layers on top of it. But yeah, I think it's best for all parties involved as someone new. Now, there is a world where he could potentially take over if all the other managerial choices say no, but let's be honest here, they're not going to say no to Liverpool FC. So let's talk about Thomas Frank at Brentford. Thomas Frank, Ivan Toney, successful Premier League mid-table club. He's turned them from would-be relegation fodder to a respectable mid-table club established in the Premier League with top-tier players in terms of that level that they're at. The reason is he gets the most out of his players. He's a great man manager. He's respected. He has an aura about him. He exudes confidence. He's well spoken. He's highly respected by Klopp. Brentford are never easy to play against, and he coped so well in the absence of Ivan Toney, obviously with that gambling scandal, right? Ivan Toney being sold in the summer, maybe there's a chance for him to change roles as well. Would Liverpool be attracted to him? They'd be very, very attracted to him because he's got the endorsement of Klopp. He knows the Premier League. He can beat the big opposition. He is the voodoo child for Man City. He's beat Man City so many times, I think. Am I right? Am I right in saying that? Check it out. He is the antithesis of Pep Guardiola. He is a tactical mastermind. He's a great man manager. He can work on a budget as well. He improves players. And this is really attractive. He's Premier League proven. He improves players. He's got aura about him. He's experienced. He's endorsed by Klopp. He has the ability, I feel, to run a big club. And Liverpool would back him. Liverpool would support him. They'd be excited about him. Even though he's not the most fancy name, you know, he's not the most glamorous name. I mean, even for an international manager who's not English, then the last name Frank. Thomas Frank. Let's be frank about it. Excuse the pun. I think he's a fit. He actually is a fit. If you look towards logic, right, and Billy Hogan did intimate toward this, they're going to choose it based on logic, based on a formula, based on tangible outputs, what they're trying to achieve. With the money we got, with the players we got, with the future we want to bring, with the Premier League experience, someone who can fight our side, back our side, who's honest, who has integrity, who can stand at the forefront of Liverpool, and you could be proud of him as long as he achieves his success. I don't think of any manager actually in this whole list anyone would fight for Liverpool away from the media, even against the owners, against anyone, to do the right thing and really get Liverpool to where they belong to be, in the top tiers and upper echelons of every competition. I think Thomas Frank would be a really respectable choice because you could see him really going for it and giving everything to get the most out of that squad and achieve the most possible, fighting on all comers, whether it's the owner, whether it's other clubs, whether it's managers in the media, whether it's his own internal players. This guy, to me, looks the business. He looks the real deal, even though he's at an attractive club. But everyone's got to start somewhere, right? And you've got to be given the opportunity to write your most successful chapters. And I think from what I've seen from that Brentford team, in terms of transitions, in terms of interplay, in terms of the players moving into areas where you can damage your opposition, centre-backs inverting, bombing forward, full-backs inverting, bombing forward, wingers becoming hybrid number 10, strikers going out wide, putting opposition everywhere, target man, layoff, scoring headed goals, set-piece focus. He is a set-piece beast, and Liverpool are actually one of the most successful set-piece teams in the Premier League. We've got Van Dijk, who can launch headers from nowhere, Konate as well. Jota's great in the air. Lucho Diaz scores the odd header. Szoboszlai should be doing better headers, but the free kick taking. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Tsimikas, Thiago. So many quality options in this squad. Thomas Frank would really be a results-driven manager who has the integrity to stand up for Liverpool FC, and I'll place him at number 3. Number 3 on the list of managers to take over. He wouldn't be the most exciting, but over time, Liverpool players could realise what a man they have in front of him. He would be that mentor, that senior figure of authority, but with respect, who the players absolutely love. The players love him, and I think that's a big factor, and he'd be a well-respected candidate for Liverpool FC. Hold our aura and our pride up high. In time, Liverpool would buy into his philosophy, and the fans would back him. I'd put him at number 3 in the list of managers to take over from Jurgen Klopp. Now, 2 Liverpool fans that I think we can rule out of the running for the Liverpool job would be Steven Gerrard, because as great as he was as our captain, Captain Stevie G, Captain Fantastic, Jamie Carragher as well, for example, he was a good player as well, but there's something about their post-playing day career that just doesn't quite sit right. The managerial roots, the comments, the affinity to the media, and the way they present themselves. Obviously, he is one of the highest paid managers in the world right now in Saudi Arabia. Credit to him, collecting that ching-ka-ching. Yeah, it's not going to be Gerrard. And another one, Ange Postecoglou, big Liverpool fan growing up, cheeky chappy, well-spoken, plays attractive football as well, but you can't imagine a world where you're going to be pulling him out of Tottenham unless he kicks up a fuss and really throws the handbags out, the handbags and the glad drags. Yeah, Daniel Levy negotiations as well. I don't think it's all likelihood going to be Ange Postecoglou, and he hasn't won. And, you know, he plays attractive football, but still short interim. People know what Spurs are about now. Just a bit Spursy, really, isn't it? So, yeah, it's not going to happen. Who could potentially come in? Number 2. I'm going to place this guy at number 2, which leaves it really obvious who number 1 is. Number 2, Roberto Zerbi, right? At Brighton. Now, if Ruben Amorim is intensity, then Zerbi is creativity. Creativity and flair. The exciting way that Brighton play, open up the opposition. This is a manager who can devise formations and tactical plays that can open up the opposition regardless of shape. You want to do low block, he'll open you up. You want to go transitional aggressive, he'll open you up. You want to go Gengen pressing, pushing up front, he can open you up. He has drilled into his players passing lanes and passages of play that is just very difficult to contain. But it is a double-edged sword, this. He's an exciting, vibrant manager who's got attacking flair, and he puts gel. I'm sure he puts gel in his hair, right? Look at him, Zerbi. Is he like 44? He must be mid-40s or something, right? But I like his style. Like the cut of his jib. He is a double-edged sword because when it works well, it's beautiful, it's unstoppable, and before you know it, you're overloaded, overflooded, you're leaking goals, and he's on top. 2-0 becomes 3-0, 3-1, end up 4-1 kind of thing, right? But if it doesn't work and he's cut open, he plays his way. So no matter how much you're under the cosh, he'll push up high. He'll really press wingers against your fullbacks. He will put them in. Matoma, for example, thrives on this instantaneous, straight, gung-ho at them approach. Attacking flair, creativity, needs the right sort of player to be confident on the ball, to beat the press, to beat the opposition, to get into those congested spaces, to receive the ball, to play off the ball, lay it off and get into the areas where you can do the damage. He isn't a containment manager. Now, at the biggest stage with the better players, surely you've got to account for all scenarios of play, but he is an exciting, tactical innovator. He is le innovator. That's not a word. He's an innovating master. I think Pep Guardiola is a big fan of this guy, right? I really like Zerbi, and a Liverpool under Zerbi would be super exciting. And a real exciting thing about Zerbi at Liverpool is he'd be given time to find the winning formula. He is an innovator with better players, better infrastructure, in a club that will support him, with a fan base that will be excited about his football. He's a smiley coach on the side as well. Some people have said about his fashion sense. What is that boyish fashion sense? But I love it. He's my type of guy. He's my dude. I'd be hanging out with him in the pub, in the tapas, in the izakaya in Japan. We'd be drinking that sake. I digress. I like Zerbi. I think he's a natural fit for Liverpool, and he's Premier League proven. That Brighton team are always going to be there and thereabouts in terms of competing against upper teams, even though they are not a big team, but they can beat anybody on day, and you would not be surprised. And imagine he had a top tier team who you expect to be opposition players, opposition teams, If you're up against a Real Madrid, for example, or Barcelona, or the teams that are in that kind of top tier, let's put Real Madrid because Liverpool seem to be unable to beat Real Madrid lately, except from that thrashing beforehand when we even put on Desena to lob is it Casillas back in the day? Gerrard, Torres destroyed them that day. Anyway, I digress. Zerbi is innovator who can break the hoodoo. He can break any dominance from any team because his style of play on any given day can absolutely smash, wallop, bang any team 7-0, for example. If he was the Liverpool FC manager, I would be expecting some big score lines on the occasion, whether it's against the minnows or even against the big teams, because of his understanding of the passages of play that get you into the goal scoring opportunities of the whole list. He has the highest attacking flair for me, and I love it. I love it, and it'd be an exciting watch. But we'd lose on the odd occasion as well because that's just the way he plays. So I'm going to put him as number 2 because he would reinvigorate the fan base. The players would be excited to play underneath him. He has Premier League experience. He's well regarded as well, and he could be here for long term because he's young, he's fresh, he's well respected, and I don't think any Liverpool fan would have a problem with the Zerbi. None. And his players seem to love him, love his training methods. Everyone, the media, he's the media darling. The players love him, the coaches love him, the fan base loves him. The only flaw I can imagine is that he's Italian, right? And historically, Liverpool haven't had the best luck with Italians. Dosena, Aquilani, Borini. I'm sure I'm missing one or two here. But yeah, that aside, he has energy in abundance, would represent us really well. I imagine he'd work really good in FSG infrastructure and framework as well with the data analysts and, coming up with new styles of play and conjuring up new tactical innovations as well. He's a really good fit for Liverpool, isn't he? I think we would really enjoy him. But coming on to number 1, and I wish I still had that Xabi Alonso gold Champions League font shirt, but someone nicked it back in the day. Xabi Alonso. Class and substance in abundance. The name of this channel is Liverpool Fan in Japan, but the Liverpool fans in Japan, we love Xabi. Xabi-san, Xabi-sama, he was classy. He's a maestro. He really bought into the Liverpool philosophy. He was a loved hero at Liverpool. He scored our equaliser in Istanbul. He's a great looking chap. He's well spoken, super intelligent, super respected. Played under the biggest coaches in the game. He's played under Guardiola. He's played under Mourinho. He's played under Rafa Benitez. He is absolute quality. He's even played under Ancelotti, Mourinho, Guardiola, Benitez. What a collection of managers to learn under. The tactical variations, the tactical innovation, the style of play, the training methods, the coaching methodology. He's got everything. He's got absolutely everything. Especially the connection to Liverpool FC as well. Obviously, he was a big player in that era as a part of our success, the most successful midfield. One of them that we've ever had, right? Mascherano, Alonso, Stevie G, even Momo Sissoko. We sung about the best midfield in the world, pulling the strings, a pass master, well respected. That Leverkusen side is doing amazing things. Now, here's a video that I want to make around the way that Liverpool played. It'll be the first one, actually, the way Liverpool play under Javi Alonso. Now, I've seen a few other videos from a few other content creators, and I highly disagree that he's wedded to 3 at the back, and especially the people who talk about Piero, Hincapie as well. He doesn't even start Hincapie on many occasions, so yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, he would bring excitement to Liverpool fan base because is he still the only undefeated team with Leverkusen in Europe? Should be Liverpool, really. No, we lost against Arsenal, legit. We can't say that anymore. But yes, Xabi Alonso has the ability to work with the players at hand and instill in them upper echelon class of tactical awareness and game intelligence. This is something I'm not sure a lot of the other players have in their repertoire. He's played at the highest level on the highest stages and won practically everything and played under the most renowned coaches. So he actually has first-hand exposure and experience to what it means to be the best coach in history. Obviously, Pep Guardiola probably holds that crown through merit. He's done it with great squads, albeit, but he's deserved it, right? He has earned his place through the style of football and tactical innovation and the awards that he's achieved. But Xabi Alonso is in his mould. In fact, they play the same position. Deep-lying playmaker, tempo maestro. Thiago Alcantara, I would imagine, probably gets an extra year if Xabi Alonso is here, if he can prove his fitness and, regain his former momentum. But what's more exciting about Alonso's appointment to Liverpool would be the affinity to the fan base straight away following on from Jurgen Klopp inheriting Liverpool 2.0 with one of the best squads in the world, 2 strong positions at least in every position, world-class youth in abundance and infrastructure, the new stands, Liverpool in harmony uniting under the banner of Xabi Alonso, just fits. It really, really fits. There's a reason he's an odds-on favourite for the bookmakers. He could be doing with another year or 2 in Leverkusen, but when will the Liverpool job turn up again? Because if someone like Thomas Frank or an Amorim or the Zerbi get into that hot seat, you would imagine they'd be given at least 2 to 3 years to show what they're about. And in 2 to 3 years' time, what job would be available? He's obviously been gunning for Real Madrid, for Liverpool, for Bayern Munich. I would say Liverpool has to be the one that he jumps into to really prove his credentials as a manager. And with Affinity, he knows what You'll Never Walk Alone is about. He knows about those historic Anfield nights, those European nights. He knows the songs and the chants of Javi Alonso. I really think the fit is right there. All stars align and point towards the opportunity with Klopp leaving and Klopp making the announcement and him having that great run in the Bundesliga with Leverkusen at the moment. The tactical flair, the innovation, the ability to improve players, to convey his point of view and the way he wants them to play, the tactical innovation, understanding of the Premier League is very important. He hasn't managed in Premier League, but he understands the Premier League and what it's about, the fast-paced intensity, the media, the responsibilities, the requirements. He would get Liverpool. He would get Liverpool from the inside out because he's been here. He knows it. He's touched the famous "This is Anfield" sign. I think above all, it's the affinity to Liverpool that really puts him in pole position, the tactical genius of the man, the class of the man. It would be different in Klopp because Klopp is heart on the sleeve, in the media, say it how it is, defend the club's right, the right to fight, and really, really, let Liverpool show what they're about on the pitch. Whereas Alonso would be more kind of sophisticated in his way to give the visions of his idea and transcribe to the media and to the public what Liverpool are trying to achieve on a more kind of technical and tactical level. I'd imagine he'd be more soft-spoken. He is pretty soft-spoken as well. It'd be very interesting in the moments of conflict and controversy how Alonso would deal with those situations, but I think he's got enough about him. He can rely on that backbone, that wealth of experience as a player and as a manager. I think his tactical rulebook and his man management and the respect that he commands from the training pitch, because I'm sure he would still hit a better long ball than 90% of the Liverpool squad right now. Him, Van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold could take turns to see who can hit that better crossfield pass or crossbar challenge, and I'd still say that Alonso would win his fair share. I can't say he'd win more because he wouldn't, but he'd win his fair share because we do have technical maestros. Even Thiago would do pretty good in training. You see those training videos, Thiago and Lucho Diaz? Ooh, Lucho Diaz's sparring partner is back. Anyway, I digress. Alonso is front runner on merit. The opportunity is there. He's not at the biggest club at the moment. He's proved his worth and his tactical ability already by getting Leverkusen to those heights, even though the playing squad that he has at the moment, probably on merit, deserves challenging for the title anyway. And Bundesliga isn't the strongest league, but you've got a Harry Kane-led Bayern Munich who's breaking all records on the scoring front. I think it just makes sense, and it's so poetic justice to see one of our own come home. He made and established his career and his reputation in Liverpool from Real Sociedad. He has the connection. We love him. We love Alonso. He's so good looking as well. The Liverpool fans in Japan would go Banzai, Kampai. That's our boy. Saying that though, there is a world where he probably stays at Leverkusen and hones his craft if the Real Madrid job becomes open in a few years' time with Ancelotti. He wouldn't become a national team manager anytime soon. He could leave a dynasty at Liverpool because he's very, very young as well. But would he stay at Liverpool in the long run forever and ever? One day, I think he would move on to try the experience of coaching, because he seems like the type to me, the nomadic type who wants to experience coaching in different leagues, right? So he's had Bundesliga now, which probably rules out Bayern Munich for the immediate future. Liverpool Premier League, and you'd hope at least he stays a good 8 to 10 years full of trophies and success. Guardiola gone, the era of Alonso. I love the sound of that, the era of Alonso, before maybe moving on to Madrid or something like that, right? So there's my list. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Who would you like to see in the Liverpool hot seat, succeeding from Jurgen Klopp? Liverpool 2.0 becomes Liverpool 3.0 with the new manager in place. Thank you once again. Like the video if you haven't already. Helps the video get seen. Help me to beat algorithm. Growing the channel constantly. Much appreciated, minasan. And until next time, arigato. Ciao.